Before we begin today's conversation, we want to acknowledge that we'll be discussing topics related to sexual and reproductive health, mental well-being, and personal experiences that may be sensitive for some viewers. Our goal is to create a safe and open space for discussion, but we understand that these topics can be triggering or emotionally challenging. If you find any of our content distressing, we encourage you to seek support from a trusted friend, family member, or professional, or you can reach out to our Bex's chatbot. Viewer discretion is advised. Up next on DiCHiPi UNFiLTERED.
Yo, and then she calls the police and she's like, hey, stop this party. Stop this party.
And the police let's drag her into the whole mess.
Isn't I be saying? Isn't I be saying?
One who had to.
I did the things that will, haunt me. Isn't I be saying?
Yeah. Your character kills me so much because from the moment that we get to meet Nkateko saying, she's like judging people in the
I get it.
DiCHiPi Salsa, welcome to another episode of
DiCHiPi UNFiLTERED.
And just in case you've joined us, DiCHiPi UNFiLTERED is a podcast that's centered around a show that aired on SABC 1 called DiCHiPi by JiK'iZiNTO. And this episode is set in Soshanguve. There's a whole lot that goes on. I'm not going to recap that, but what you can do is catch it on our YouTube channel. So just go back, watch episode 2, and then come back so we can get into the tea. Because somebody's son put his head about somebody's daughter's skirt. Ma'am, firstly, introduce yourself and then we'll get into the drama.
Yes, hi guys, I'm Azande Congo and I play the character of Nompumelelo on DiCHiPi by JiK'iZiNTO.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
And then Mpume's friend obviously is Miss Grace. Well, you're not the friend, you're the friend stealer. You're stealing. Introduce yourself, man.
Hi, my name is Lauren Smith and I play Grace and I'm a very shy and timid engineer, MMA fighter. Who will she be? Who will she be, guys?
We don't know. And last but not least, small and mighty, Miss Nkateko.
Hi guys, my name is Nkateko and I play Tabiseng on DiCHiPi by JiK'iZiNTO.
And my name is Barbara and I'll be your host on this episode of DiCHiPi UNFiLTERED. And obviously, good hosts refresh people. So let's have a quick refresher by looking at when Grace went and admitted to her mother that the project of her dreams was now the project from hell.
Andy, what's up, dude?
I misplaced my application for the fellowship and my 3D model got destroyed at the party.
What do you mean you didn't apply? If it's not just the throwing parties, stay met my earrings weggooi. And now this. You just want to kill me. How could you miss your deadline?
The deadline is tomorrow, so I was thinking maybe we could just tell Diddy and explain everything.
Explain what? That the fellowship your father put you forward for, if the company works it, the fellowship is so sure you're going to get. You are not going to apply because you misplaced your application.
That could never be me. Can you please walk us through what happened there?
Oh, goodness me. It is so scary because now we have the party that kind of just causes all of Grace's like disarray and everything falls apart for her when that happens. And it's like she has this big project and now you're asking yourself like, okay, am I the type of person to stop that party? Lauren would not stop the party because she just wants other people to like her, but Grace
Lauren
is like,
is you.
yeah,
You
Lauren
like
is
you.
me.
Okay.
Lauren is me. Lauren would not have stopped that party. She would have been like, but Grace, no, she's not that type of girl. She is just like, okay, this is not allowed. And like the youth center is also kind of like a safe space for her to go where she's like, okay, I can get my work done. She feels safe in this space where she can actually be herself without the stress of her family. So I think like she just, yo, and then she calls the police and she's like, hey, stop this
Yeah.
party, stop this party.
And the police, let's drag her into the whole mess. So here you are. I mean, you're Miss Goody Two Shoes. You're supposed to be this big and bright savior of the family. And the one job that you had was to make a project to hand in so you can fulfill your father's dream. And this party that people we won't name
Yes.
throw
God.
kind of jeopardizes the whole situation. And I think for me, it's the braveness of then admitting to your mom that, ma'am, this thing is just not going to happen because I broke the project. This is what happened. This is the true situation. But you don't tell that to your dad. Why do you think it is that your character in the story doesn't go tell the dad, but tells the mom?
I think it's more like, firstly, her mom catches her, firstly, like in the situation. Because I think she wasn't really going to tell anyone. And she was going to like, oh, I'm going to struggle by myself, figure it out by myself. I don't want anybody to worry about me. Like I'm capable and all these things. And I feel like that comes into play with like her feeling like she needs to do everything by herself and put that pressures on her. And like just saying to her mom, she's more comfortable with going to her because her dad holds her in such high regard.
Yeah.
And she knows, oh my goodness, my sister did one thing and he was so disappointed in her and didn't even want to like speak to her, and the relationship changed.
That's so real.
Yeah.
And she has such a strong relationship with her dad. She's like, I don't want to lose that. So I think that's why she ends up going to her mom instead. And then it's just this roller coaster that goes
lies.
down and down and down. And you're like, girl,
Grace is lies.
Yeah.
just tell the truth. It will free you.
It really will. And I wonder, like, if you've ever been in a situation like that where there's something difficult that you had to kind of share with your parents. Did you choose your mom or did you choose your dad? Do you feel like you have a safe space in your families to kind of just
I
walk
chose
up
my
and
mom.
say, real?
I chose my mom. So when I found out that I was pregnant,
That's a real one.
in real life, when Azande found out that she was pregnant, I told my mom. Yeah, I told my mom. And I think like also like I come from a family where like we can openly talk about anything. You know, my parents have given us that platform to say whatever it is because you don't have anyone else to run to. Not that you don't, but like they prefer that we speak to them rather. So like I spoke to my mom. Yeah.
And it went well. I think that's so real because even with me, I was also very similar to Grace. I was studying engineering 3 years in, and I was like, I don't think I can do this time. And I sat for it with months because you build it up in your head so much, thinking that like, if I have to tell my parents, like, what are they gonna say? Which is similar to
How
what
will
your
they
character
react?
was
Will it be
going
good or
through.
bad?
And also you're scared of the disappointment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It's a tough one. And I remember I spoke to my mom, and in my case, my mom was the one who was like, good luck talking to your father. Good luck. So scary. And then when I went to go speak to my dad, reality was that it wasn't as bad as I imagined the conversation would be. And when I told him like, Dad, I want to drop out and try a new degree, he literally was like, I could see that you were struggling. And your character assumes that people don't see that you're struggling.
Yeah.
So he's like, I could see the anxiety. I could see that you were struggling. And I'm glad that you finally admitted to yourself first that this wasn't something for you. So let's find a new school. Let's figure it out. And I cried. Not because I was like kidding. Not because I was scared or whatever, but it was just like the relief of
Yeah.
Releasing all of that.
Yes, it's quite safe. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I know in Black families, it isn't always a thing where like you can openly speak about stuff.
not.
Have you ever been in a situation where you said something in your family and then it was taken like
of course. it's very normal. But I feel like these days it's something that is progressive in Black families. They see that children are really holding on to so many things. And those things make us create a huge wall around us. And now we push people away, which is not healthy at all. But besides all of that, now I'm just glad that Grace stopped the party. Honestly, because as Ntabi saying,
one who had to.
I did the things that will, haunt me, as Ntabi saying. And my friend over here.
What?
Now the things are haunting me. You get what I'm saying? So I support you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For once.
Do you really?
For
My thing
once.
is that the best way that you could have gone about the situation? Not telling your dad.
Oh, no, she definitely should have told their dad. told her dad. But I'm a hypocrite because I also struggle like
with stuff like that.
talking to my dad or sharing stuff with my dad because we're very similar. So we knock heads like a lot. So then I'm like, so I would tell her, but I'm a hypocrite because then it's like, Lauren, you also then need to have an open conversation. But I definitely think my parents are more supportive in that regard. They're like, what do you want to do? Acting. Go for it. We believe in you.
We love you.
Yeah. Go do it. It's fine.
Parents must do. Parents must just love and support and raise their children, because I think to your point, what happens is that if you don't feel safe enough to speak to people in your own family, then right?
Where do you go?
You hear from people on the street, and sometimes the information that you get from your friend, yes, fine, your friend might have had sex before, but just because she has doesn't necessarily mean that the information she's giving you is correct, it's safe, or it's factual.
It's very true.
And one person who loves to depend on her friends when it comes to the things about the sex.
Hey,
Miss Ntabi saying, hey,
it's fine. Bona,
pack it.
We're
We're gonna
thinking,
pack it.
yeah.
Let's look at the clip where she says, Kinyako fagugu. And then we'll talk about it.
No, ke kuku. Nthabiseng kuku. Really?
Hey.
Your character kills me so much, because from the moment that we get to meet Ntabi saying, she's like judging people in the life. She was like, so like,
Why am I gonna go?
on the street.
Why am I gonna go?
And then you get to a point where you're like, actually, maybe I should wear. But your provocative statements are so deep. Like there was one time where I think you were sharing baloney and liguinya with your crush, and then you say, does he want to put his baloney?
The intrusive thoughts were winning.
No, they were
Do
winning.
you want to have my cookie? That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
No, Tabi saying honestly, if she would speak those things
Out
out
loud,
of her head, I feel like it would have caused so much chaos that she can't fix. But honestly, she lives so much in her head that she creates these scenarios of herself, But to speak for her, you can't wear a gown outside
On the street.
on the street. And why are you giving Tabi Singh your baloney? And like,
But I think it's normal. Like sometimes when you see your crush, you say stupid things. Like that.
exactly.
It's not something that you are gonna get right. So you're in a very serious relationship, right? And I think for me, what I realized about Ntabi saying in the story is that she starts to dress like Tez type because she wants to look like the kind of girl that he likes, right?
Yeah.
In your relationship where you're with someone who I assume, because it's been a good while, is someone who likes you for yourself, what do you think is the importance of taking a step back in the dating process to ask yourself, do I actually even like this person, before you start changing yourself and trying to be what impresses them?
That's so crazy because it happens so often where you're like, okay, cool, I like the idea of this person, but do I really know who they are? And then like, oh my goodness, but do I? And then you have to like start having like such serious conversations with the other person about like, okay, and then it gets like really serious, which I don't know. People always want to make what am I saying? Make relationships out to be really lighthearted. Yeah. But it's very serious who you choose to be your like life partner. Now you're like, how religious are you? Do you want kids? What's your relationship with your father? Because that is very important.
Very.
How is your relationship with your mother?
You know?
How are you with your family? And all that type of stuff. And I think once you can see those building blocks that make up that person, then you start to see who they really are, excluding like the interests.
Essentially, because these are things that infiltrate into the relationship. They define you guys at a later stage, you know.
What's your trauma? What do you need to deal with?
You know?
Because I'm shouldering it with you so that we can deal with it together.
And your character just decided that I'm not going to entertain. I don't know if she was being naive or if she was just trying to run away and escape it. But let's watch a clip for context, just to see what this girl's madness is about, and then unpack the whole thing on intercourse that maybe isn't wanted.
Yeah.
Here she is, the greatest DJ ever.
Okay, the one that subjected me to some silly kids party.
Oh no, yo ngiyaxolisa ngale nto Mr. Ronald. Yazi yonke nje into eyenzeka lapha kwangamele yenzeke. Yeah. Mr. Ronald, ngiyacela manje ukuthi ungiphele ngithuba.
Ngwenzela lokho.
Ngoba ngiyafisa ukuthi ngikukhombise wonke amakhono enginawo, and I'd really love if you could be my mentor. And unauthorized or not, i-crowd nje ngiyayingenisa-ke nje wabona la ngileya party leyana. Futhi kunama-followers
Yazi
awu-100K.
wonke umuntu oshaya ngokuba nama-followers ku-entertainment industry. Baningi abantu abanjalo and they've got followers. Amanzi amancane lawa. Now into enzima lana Mpumi is to have that X factor. And ngendlela engizwe ngayo before amahata afika amosha leya tea party yakho, I would say nah.
Ngobani?
Man, isitala sakho man si-2 amateur hour. Ngapha manje sichecka ngiyabona ukuthi no man, si-too old for social FM. You are too green.
Oh, are you thinking phela lapho mina ngi-ready vele ukuthi?
No, mina mele ngihambe.
Oh, Ronald, yo girl, don't worry. We'll sort it out. Don't worry.
Yeah. What a hectic situation.
Yeah.
So you're out here looking for mentorship, but this person obviously looks like they've got different intentions. Can you walk us through what's going on between Mpumi and Ronald?
So Mpumi wanted mentorship from Ronald because she has this aspirations to be a DJ and stuff, and obviously Ronald is big in the DJ music and he's got connections and stuff, but only to find out that like he has ulterior motives. It doesn't seem like he wants to mentor Mpumi. So it was a challenge for her because, you know, she doesn't have connections. She literally has to work super hard to get where she wants to get, you know, and it was very demotivating, you know, as a character. Everything that you try, don't laugh. I'm laughing. Why are you laughing? Demotivating. Not really. No, you know, that's the thing about Mpumi is that she hides like her anxieties. You know, she has to show up strong in front of her friends. But when she's alone, she cries and goes through all of these emotions because it's like, I don't have anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm crashed, then that's it.
And I think it's because also she's going so fast. Like, this girl is chasing her money. When she's done chasing her money, she wants her finals so that she can DJ. When she's done, she's doing. And I think there's just not enough time for her to actually digest
And process
what's going on.
Yeah.
And specifically what she wants from Ronald. What a mentor is. If she's asking for mentorship, what is she looking for? So I don't know if you could maybe just paint a picture. I mean, you are big girls.
Yeah.
I hope you have mentors. Do you have mentors?
I wish.
You do?
I do.
You wish?
I wish I had a mentor because I don't. How? Where do you start? What do you do? How do you find a mentor?
See, you know,
But then the question becomes, are people clear about what exactly a mentor is and what their job is supposed to be? Because you're expecting Ronald to introduce you to people, then you want him to give you a big break, then you want him to... So what exactly is a mentor supposed to do?
I think like it's, you know, a mentor does a whole lot of different things. Obviously, it starts with like a guidance because you need career guidance. So you want to do this thing. Okay, so this is how my journey went. So you are able to guide the person in terms of avoid this, don't do this, because when I did this, this happened. So you sort of, I don't want to say make it easier, but it's a more guided process, you know, because you have someone who's been through that before instead of having to go through everything on your own, you know. And as time goes by, when you've learned the skills that you need to learn from this person, then they can start with connecting you and putting you out there if they do have connections, you know, and putting that to use. You know, to actual use, because there's the theory part of it and then there's the practical part of it.
And I think you also have to match up then to the advice that you're being given. Because I mean, if you're a human being, if you gave someone advice every day and then they didn't follow your advice, are you going to keep advising them? No. You're not gonna keep advising them. So I think also it's important if you're looking for a mentor, like Mpumi was in her case, there was a clip where she meets K-Matt on an Instagram live.
Yes.
Right? And she's like, can you play something for me? And it's like, you're so determined to get this goal that you don't even have the work ethic and the finer details to meet with that. So it's like when you do meet her, because you've been wanting to meet her, you finally meet her and then
what must happen? See, that's where the mentor
you're not
comes
prepared.
in. Yeah.
No, but even if a mentor had introduced your character to K-Matt, what then would have been the conversation? What do you show her? Because you just wanted to meet this person, but you weren't really prepared. So I think
That's a good
sometimes,
point.
sometimes we're chasing mentors and you want the big person to be your mentor, but have you displayed the characteristics necessary to show that this is someone worth investing my time in because it's free, right?
Yeah.
Or do you pay for mentors?
No.
Hey, wait, I can't monetize everything, guys.
I do get your
No,
point.
you don't.
Because
Yeah,
there was a it's
no, it's
sorry.
okay, Mama.
There was a certain time whereby someone was looking for a mentor. But the thing is now they want the mentor to do the work for them.
For you.
Because now
I
they
see.
think, no, actually I have this person. So I'm sorted. You get what
And
I'm
then
saying?
You're not practicing your skill. You're not sharpening anything. And I think also remember, if somebody's at a point like Ronald, who owns a big radio station, Witibo Big Love, Bouquet Met, all these famous people, don't you think that Ronald gets paid per hour? Like, just think about it. How valuable is this man's time? So if I'm going to be investing something in you, I want something back.
Exactly.
You know, some people, they want something back. but other people want to see the value that they're putting into you come back out.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not all mentors are like that. Some people, like I said, want something. Something like a cookie.
Something like
And you said you have a mentor in real life.
Yes.
I imagine that mentor is a good one. Or
Very.
what a cookie. I have to confirm.
No, definitely not.
So you don't pay with cookie.
I know.
The thing is, like, I have to ask this question because it's something that happens out there.
Yes,
At the end of the day, there's a transaction that needs to happen. If this person is someone who's famous, whose time is valuable, there needs to be some value that they extract. And if someone is looking for something other than seeing you rise, then I start to question, is that a good mentor? So in your experience with your mentor, what does a good mentor offer?
Oh my God, my mentor has been so amazing. You know, like I even got my chance to travel because of my mentor, you know, because he's a big guy in the industry, director, you know, he's taught me different skills.
Director!
He's taught me different skills. Whenever he goes to like out of the country, he'll take me and then he'll just put me there and say, okay, this is how you operate, this is how you do it. He will show you. And then randomly when I'm like chilling and I'm like, he's like, okay, I'm going there, do what I was teaching you now. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, I'm not ready. You know, so I think that's what I appreciate. It's what the theory and the practical side that I'm talking about. You teach, and then after teaching, you demonstrate, and then you get a chance to do it as well.
And I think also the feedback afterwards.
Yes.
I also have a mentor, and I think for me, when it wasn't even something where I reached out and said, "Hi, can you be my mentor?"
Same here. It just happened. It was it was in a conversation, and we're like, "Are you actually my mentor?" He was like, "I think I am."
I recently started radio last year, and I was in a situation where I was just trying to get to know people in the industry. So we sat down, we're having chats, and this person is teaching me. They are telling me, and they're like, "I listened to this show of yours. Here's some feedback. This is what you could actually do to be better," which is what I think is a great mentor. And by the end of it, I was given the opportunity to then go host bigger shows. And this person was like, "I'm gonna come and listen to every single one of your shows." And after every show, every night, we would do a debrief on the phone where he would say, do this tomorrow, like you're saying. I'm going to demonstrate to you, then tomorrow you implement, right? And I think that's what a good mentor is.
That is a good mentor.
Someone who will help you refine your craft, but also give you the opportunities to share that with the world.
And also push you. Not just wait, maybe like wait for you. They should push you.
So do you think friends can be mentors?
I don't think so.
She said, I don't think so.
Okay, wait. But then, friend, how much wisdom do you have on me when we're on the same level or the same age or whatever? You know, we both finished university.
At the
Where
same
are you
time.
at? That's different from
But
me.
you might find that you had a friend who was working and studying like she was at the same time. So when you start working, she could advise you. And you were speaking about your friend motivating you and pushing you and challenging you
That's
to do
fair.
better. So maybe sometimes
advising. But
Mentoring.
mentoring is a different thing.
But what I think when I think about mentorship, I also think sometimes we want to put the pressure on one person. When there's nothing wrong with having multiple mentors for different things. Do you get what I mean? The guy who's a director and really great at stuff might not be a mother. You know what I mean? He's not a mom. So who mentors you in your career as a mom? So I think also just exploring the fluidity in having a mentor for love and someone whose relationship or marriage you admire and you're
Yeah.
like, I could really learn a lot from this person. Or your mom who's managed to raise 3 kids and all of them are successful and it's like, I could really learn a lot from this person. So sometimes we overlook our friends and our family, our mothers, our teachers, the people around us, when really they might have been your very first mentor.
Sometimes I'm speaking from that perspective of, when you're friends, I can advise you on the thing that you want to do and all of that. Be serious for now. But as time goes by, there's that, that friendshipness of not taking things that serious.
Yes.
So you end up slacking. That's the thing. And as your friend, like,
It's a suggestion.
what mean? You know what? It's fine. You get what I'm saying?
And then we leave you.
Yeah, and then we leave you. It's not really about overlooking the intelligence or whatever of a person, but it's just that, just you end up slacking, because it's your friend.
Sometimes it'll open you up to the peer pressure because then you sit and say, be saying, today how? And then everyone
get
goes
my
one by one,
point.
telling you,
Makes you
we
feel
don't
so
like the way
bad.
that you do 1, 2, 3, and now you feel like you have
Exactly my
to
point.
change yourself to meet up to that standard. So maybe check in with Big Sis and ask like, is this a good mentor or is this a bad mentor? If you're unsure about the situation, how do I step out of it? But I want to put you in the hot seat. Right? Small game. This guy was scared. Today, get a little bit alone. So let's start with. Let me see my question. I can see what I'm going to throw this question at. I'm going to start with Lauren. Yes. So the hot seat is basically me asking you a question, but you have to give us nothing but the truth and the whole truth. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Are you ready?
breathe.
So, obviously, your character in episode 1 goes and feels like Yenaki steering of the show. She's going to save the day and stop the party. And I want to know from you, why do you feel like Grace has this strong desire to control everything?
I think it comes from like I said earlier, like being her safe space. So it's like the one space she has to herself. And now this space is destroyed and people don't care about it. So she's like, I need to get these people out of here. I need to clean it up. She literally starts picking up bottles because she's like, you guys are so messy. This is like, it's a space.
That's why they captured her with those bottles.
Because she's like holding all of them because she starts cleaning it up. And it's like, then that gets taken out of context and makes her look like a person who drinks and parties and stuff when that's really not what she's like at all. So I think it's just her need to protect the safe space that she has made for herself. Yeah.
Yo, that's so deep. That's so deep. But back to the hot seat. Why did she lie?
Oh. Yo.
Ma'am, the seat is hot. Why did
It's
she
very
lie?
hot. Oh my goodness. She lied because she's too scared to disappoint people. And like, now it's like she's so perfect. She does everything so well. And now she's a disappointment. I worked so hard for this title and now you're saying I'm a disappointment. I think that crushes any kid who's like parents put them on a pedestal.
But is it better to lie than be a disappointment?
Hey, that's a difficult
Because
question.
the real life truth is that is you.
That is
you. So if you're lying, are you really escaping the disappointment or are you creating a bigger opportunity to be a bigger disappointment?
the bigger opportunity to be a bigger disappointment then. But situations can be so complicated and
When I'm understand, you are the same person. You're speaking on her behalf and you're protecting her. I see you.
I'm trying to protect my girl.
I see you. Okay, next in the hot seat, Nkateko.
Dun, 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 dun.
True or false?
True.
What are you agreeing to, girl?
It will be true because I'm going to ask Onyaka Palonimo.
True. I'm joking.
The question I really want to ask is, do you think that Nthabiseng is looking for a relationship with her crush? Is she looking for the sex? What is it that Nthabiseng wants from Ste?
I feel like Nkateko is just looking for an experience. Honestly. I feel like she's been with herself. So I feel like with her first crush and all of that, she's not sure where she's going. But she is enjoying where she is at that point. You get what I'm saying? That's why I like Onyaka experience. Mara. Re tla bona.
I'm just curious though, what do you think is causing this thirst for an experience? Like, is it the fact that she just moved to Sosha, it's new people, there's a hot boy, so now you just want to experience Sosha Nkube?
The thing is, it might be gore ha sure gore o feel e. That's the thing. That's why I got onyak experience, because ntho e feeling right now ke ntho e nkare a e boneng. So we bona gore she should go in this route, but she's not sure what this route has for her. You get what I'm saying? That's like all of this is just, an experience.
And I shared a bit about how, for me, when I had to speak to my dad, I built things up in my head and I thought it was going to be this big, scary thing. And then it was just an easy conversation.
Yeah.
So how does your character navigate the anxiety of having to lie to her father, firstly, but also knowing that this is something that I need to get done?
Like, she was literally like, I feel when you watch it happening, you're like, this girl's not sleeping. She's biting her nails off. She is constantly, when you see her, like, Nkateko was doing an impression of Grace. And I was like, you're right. That is exactly what she's like.
Can you see the expression?
But I said I'm shy.
Using taboo.
No, let's leave it for now and then. And then, after school is after school.
It's just that she is so in her own head, and I think she doesn't think she can depend on people, and that just makes her anxiety worse until her sister's like, girl, you need to breathe. Are you good? And she's kind of the only person who slowly starts noticing that this is happening, which is actually kind of sad when you see it happen. And then when I think about like my own anxiety as well, it takes a lot of brain power. When you think about it, so like it takes a lot of brain power to kind of overcome those feelings. And even then, you and yourself in your head could look in the mirror and be like, I am okay. Ah, no, you're not.
You're not.
Your breath is funny, and you're like, I'm not okay though. What do I do to get rid of these feelings? And I feel like that also happens with Grace, but she's just like powering through all of it, which is.
But I think that's what I appreciate about Big Sis as well, is that they give you tips on how to handle anxiety, mental health, and all of these issues, and like breathing techniques.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
And what did you do in your time? Because Big Sis wasn't there when you had to go and speak to your mom. And then obviously also, but pregnancy is such a long-term thing. Like you're literally pregnant for 9 months, and you have to navigate then conversations with people or people talking in public. Like, how did you then deal with that in the community when it came to your mental health? How did you like brave?
Honestly, so when I was pregnant, I was working a lot. So like I really didn't get like time to be like with people because I was always at work. I was juggling school and work. So I would wake up in the morning, I would walk to school, talk to my baby. Right, so we're going to school right now. We're going to school, Tiga. Okay, we're tired, but we're going. Get to school, I'm going to work. Now we're going to work. Now we're going to work, and I have such a great support system. I'm not going to lie. My family is amazing, so I always just talk to my mom or my dad. And I was even saying back behind the scenes that in another lifetime, I'd still choose my parents. Hey. I would definitely choose my parents again.
I hope your parents are proud.
They
are so proud.
Very. So it just takes those, having conversations with yourself, it differs from person to person. Also just watching how other people navigate around such things, and using that as a reference. And then trying that for yourself, meditating, praying, exercising, doing different things.
And it's always in the textbook, you must exercise.
You must journal.
And I worked out a lot. So that's why I was active. So I didn't have time to sit in my emotions and go through, because I was so active. If I'm not at work, I'm at school or I'm at the gym, I'm always doing something.
Azande said hustle.
Yeah.
And I love that the person that you are on screen is low-key the same.
It is. Low-key, high-key.
And what shocked me is meeting Nkateko, who's not like, you're like saying, but you're kind of different in the sense that in the time that I've gotten to spend with you, like you speak so much about like, oh guys, I need to figure out what my next goal is. Am I doing honors? Am I doing this? So this is a real life thing that you're navigating right now. What's that anxiety like where the time is ticking, you need to apply before applications close, and then you also still need to get accepted? Will you get into the schools that you want to get into? How do you deal with that in your head right now?
Because it's like one there's so many things at the same time, because you're looking at work, you're looking at school, You're looking at other things that you want to do because you want to get the job done. You want to get the boroto, get the bread. You get what I'm saying? So like, sometimes I'm like, do I leave this and focus on this? Because when I'm doing everything at once, it's like everything crashes. So it's always in a very confused state. So the anxiety, sometimes I just say, big sis, help me out.
It does help.
help me
It's
out.
a beautiful point in that the best way to eat an elephant is one bite.
Exactly.
You can't deal with it's so many moving parts, you can't deal with them at the same time. You need to say, okay, we're at work now. How do we do our best at work? We're at school now. How do we do our best at
You
school?
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything's gonna crash.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna blame yourself. Who would say, "Oh, but I'm doing everything."
Yes.
And then
what
it comes back to
happened?
then the mental health going down. I think ultimately, if it's easy to have big dreams, and it's easy to want to go after many things, but I think maybe the key to being able to have all of that is prioritizing.
Yeah, true.
Like you were saying, when you were going to work, you were prioritizing, okay, now, baby, we're focusing on
planning.
work, and
Planning,
planning. So I think knowing that in this season of my life right now, this is what I need to be focusing on. Yes, you can still work. Yes, you can still have dreams to do bigger things, but let's prioritize what needs to be done.
Exactly.
That's so good. Wow. Philosopher.
Things that you've never felt before. So obviously you're not going to know how to go about those things. Am I feeling this? Am I not? You know?
But finding a friend.
Yes, finding a friend that you can confide in is really like a savior.
You know everything, ne?
And that's the problem also in Taisei. She thinks her friend knows everything. And now she doesn't want to make her own decisions.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough. And now you're going off of what other people are saying.
Yeah, she's just, Mpume, this and this and that. Yeah, friends.
Why it's so clear to be, it's so important to be clear with what you're feeling. Because what
Exactly.
you're feeling could be completely different from what I went through, and that's how you get mixed up.
Exactly. And
Because
misinterpreted.
Because I think for you, I would understand why Ntabi Singh would look at Mpumi and think, yo, she knows all about these things. Let me go and ask her. But we get to see your character not know a whole lot of other things,
true.
right? We know
And
the
figure it
truth.
out.
Yes, and
Yeah.
figure it out. And I think that's the reality of real life is the friends who are your age that you see and you're like, she's doing this, she's doing this, she's doing that. Let me ask her. Might not necessarily be the best place to go because they don't necessarily know the bigger picture in life,
don't.
especially when it comes to things like having sex for the first time. And I mean, while she's very adamant about it being safe and making sure that you get the proper education, contraceptives, all these things, going to speak to a sister at a clinic, you, ma'am, are still very naive about the fact that Ronald is looking for payment, dear. He's looking for a payment. So my question to you, Miss
My
Mpume,
turn.
Miss Azande, is, okay, why are you not clear about your situationship with Moteo?
I don't
Because you
think
talk such a big game.
I don't think that it's her not being clear. You know, I think it has a lot to do with her abandonment issues with her dad.
Yeah.
You know, so she's afraid to commit because of the hurt that she got from her dad, from blood. You know, so yeah.
And your father's the first man
Exactly.
that you get introduced
You know,
to.
so if I don't get that from my own father, then what else am I supposed to expect from men out there, you know?
Tough. But I think, like, your character still, though, I low-key believe that even though she has abandonment issues with her dad, it's not something that's a completely lost cause because you see the father coming into the picture later on and you're kind of still optimistic about building a relationship with this man and trying to reconnect. And we're not going to get into the spoilers of whether they reconnect or not.
Yes.
But I think, do you think that same naivety is what plays into then her relationship with Ronald, where she's kind of naive about what this man's actual intentions are?
I don't think it's her being naive. I don't know. She was just, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but like I see it in a sense of she was so determined in terms of getting to her goal of really being this DJ and really breaking into the industry that like, because she did communicate multiple of times that I don't want this. You know, I don't want this. What I'm looking from you is for mentorship, pure mentorship, unprofessional You know, I'm willing to work hard. You know, she even says that, like, I'm willing to work hard. I'm not looking for any handouts. So it's just that thing of just persevere, trying to be persistent, you know, even though you see the situation, but like trying to be optimistic, you know, and yeah.
I mean, but she is clear about it in
Yeah.
the end. I think as the situation progresses, she's not always just naive. I mean, we're not gonna get it. We'll get into that next time.
I think
But-
I think she thought she could escape. She could escape it. She could, I don't know, maybe talk Ronald out of it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But how could she have handled that differently? Like, what do you think?
Maybe she should have just walked away sooner.
Sure. The moment that he said,
Yeah, you know, yeah, that moment, go, get away, because, you know, yeah.
that was not
You
the
can
time to be
see, you
silent.
know, yeah.
Hey, so much to unpack. But I think I would love to hear from you what you think about the situation, every single one of these scenarios. Let us know in the comment section down below exactly how these girls should have handled the situation. Because I mean, we're people at the end of the day.
true.
We're all different. We have different perspectives. And I think having conversations like this, not just amongst ourselves, but with you also, gives us context to maybe learning and unlearning stuff that we thought were right in the beginning that aren't necessarily right. But we'll see you guys next week. Remember that every single episode of DiCHiPi by JiK'iZiNTO will be uploaded onto this very YouTube channel. So if you're a binger or if you just want to catch up, make sure that you check it out on our YouTube channel. Otherwise, from us,